Hey, this is Noly from Periphery,
And this is Misha from Periphery.
and you're watching Age of Metal.
Hi, this is Gabrielle Jury with the Age of Metal, and I'm here with the guys from Periphery, Noly, and Misha. And I have a couple questions for you guys. First off, how's the tour going for your promotion of Juggernaut, Omega, and Alpha so far?
It's going really well. We've got a really cool tour package together. We've got some amazing bands like Nothing More, who have an insane stage presence. We've got Wovenwar, who are incredibly well-seasoned metal musicians, and Thank You Scientists, who are just probably the best musicians on the tour. They're just out of this world kind of jazz heads. So it's been a real fun time. We're about 10 days into it, and everything's going great so far.
Wonderful. All right. You agree?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Could not have said it better myself.
Awesome. Okay. So I guess that kind of answers my next question about playing with the supporting acts and how you feel about them. But with the Juggernaut Alpha Omega, is there a story or a theme behind this process, the writing process of the album?
Well, the album, it's a concept album.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there is, like there's a story, and that's told through the music and the lyrics. And the writing process obviously had to be different to cater to that this time around. It was very collaborative, and we worked a lot with the concept in mind and kind of creating the story and the music at the same time, whereas in the past, the music would have come first and then the lyrics would have come later. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Alright. What inspired you guys to write this type of music?
I mean, that's quite a tough question, really. I think inspiration just kind of comes, it's like the sum of all the influences that you've had and all the music you've listened to when you've been brought up. But for sure, once I started hearing some of the really out there metal like Dillinger Escape Plan, Sugar, bands like Sick as well as more proggy bands like Dream Theater and Opeth, all of those guys had a huge influence on me. I don't know about for you.
Yes, I mean, like all those bands, I think were very influential for everyone. But I like to talk about influence as being something more than just something that you necessarily wear on your sleeve or something that, would make its way into your music in a very audible way. I think sometimes it's seeing a band or listening to a musician who just kind of redefines what the bar is for you. And you can tell that a lot of work and a lot of attention to detail was put into it, which I appreciate, and I know the rest of the guys appreciate as well. And it just makes you want to work a lot harder. It's like, man, I got to step my game up,
For sure. Alright, do you guys have a favorite track of either Alpha or Omega?
One favorite? I don't know, it's tough. There's quite a lot of tracks. There's 16, 17 songs between the two of them. If I had to pick one off each album, perhaps.
Yeah.
For me, maybe off. I'll tell you what, I'll do one off Alpha, or you do one off
Omega. You do one off.
Alright, from Alpha, maybe the song Heavy Heart,
Okay.
which is not really a very traditional Periphery song at all. But it starts out kind of proggy, but still quite accessible. The chorus is super sugary, almost kind of poppy, but I really like how catchy it is. And then it goes off into this more kind of progressive thing, and Misha wrote an incredible chord progression for the middle section that I loved from the first moment I heard it. So I really enjoyed recording that song, and even now that's one of the few songs that I think I can listen to without being sick of.
It changes for me, but I'd say right now I'm really proud of Omega, the song. It's an epic song. It's very long. It's sort of our Have Your Cake and Eat It track. It has everything and the kitchen sink in it. But it was kind of a bit of a challenge to arrange. It was actually longer, and we kind of trimmed the fat on it. And it took a little bit of work to get it together because although it was a long song, and we didn't really plan on it being a long song, it kind of came together that way. We wanted to be like as concise as possible a long song, or as concise a long song as possible. So, even though that makes no sense, but it came together in the end really well, and I'm really proud of that track for sure.
All right, very nice. What would you guys say are the biggest obstacles for your band in this industry?
Probably one of the things with our band is we've always kind of written the music that we wanted to hear, and we've been very lucky, I guess, that it seems to have resonated with certain people. But yeah, I guess the biggest obstacle for us is probably that we're not writing super catchy pop music or something like that. And then, of course, I mean, with the state of the industry at the moment, there's it's very much kind of an arms race to see who can first figure out the best way to proceed in the new kind of age of people being able to download music and the internet completely changing how music is shared and listened to. So that's something which I know I look forward to seeing if anyone's going to come to the fore with like a really good solution that's good for both artists and listeners. But that's certainly a big one for us because that's completely changed the game in terms of what a band of our size is able to do financially compared with maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Sure. You agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest challenge is monetizing music right now. That's really what we lost with downloading. We entered this music industry knowing that, so I always remind people it's not quite as disappointing to us because we knew what we were getting into. The bands that I think suffered the worst were the ones that started before the transition, had to relearn how everything works because their business model was completely irrelevant after that, and that required a big shift, big paradigm shift for the whole industry. And I don't think anyone, as Noly said, I don't think anyone really has figured out what to do. There's a lot of sort of temporary patches, and people are trying to figure out what that next thing is going to be. And there've been a lot of sort of semi-solutions, and you have things like Spotify and YouTube, which do have their benefits, but they also don't really benefit the artist beyond the actual promotion. So I think everyone's just kind of waiting to see what the next thing will be. I'm pretty confident that someone will figure out something because it's a relatively dire situation and people tend to be resourceful in those kinds of moments, but we're still waiting on that, and in the meantime we're having a good time, so it's not something that we're stressing about too much.
Well, that's all that matters. Let's see. So I've done my research and found that you guys are a self-produced band. Like, what does all that really entail? Like,
I mean, it means that we don't have an outside party helping us with the arrangement of our songs or the recording of our songs, and with that comes a lot of responsibility, and it's certainly something that we've had to put a lot of time into, working together and learning how to communicate effectively with one another, because traditionally a record producer would fill that role and be able to help direct the creative process. So there's more to it than simply just recording at home ourselves. Like it's quite a lot more than that, actually, to see things through from initial writing and demos to kind of finalized demos to recording to the whole mixing and mastering process as well. So
you prefer this? Like, this is easier?
It's not easier, and I think it's more difficult, but it allows us to exert a lot more control at every stage of the process.
We get what we want this way. We wouldn't get exactly what we want if we weren't doing it this way, because we'd be handing a certain amount of control over the final product to someone else, and with that comes a lot of trust, and that's good for a lot of bands, but I think we all have such a specific vision of what we want that we all kind of understand that we're the only people who would be able to get that. And as Noly said, that's a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of work, it's a ton of work, because I think we don't cut corners in a lot of places where other people would, and maybe for things that really wouldn't benefit anyone else except ourselves, but that's why we do it,
Cool. Alright. When people hear your guys' music for the first time, how do you want them to remember you by? Like, what do you want them to take from it?
That's a tough one. I mean, I guess I'd just like them to hear something different in what we're doing. And maybe, some of the favourite music of mine over the years has been stuff which initially I've actually kind of disliked, or has almost been like too overbearing for me, but there's been something in it that's made me want to come back. I remember the first time I ever heard Dillinger Escape Plan, for example. It was pretty much scary, actually, like putting on Panasonic Youth, having no idea what this band was going to sound like.
That's like my exact reaction.
Right, it was like, I could take about 10 seconds of it, but for some reason I keep coming back to it and like listen to a few more seconds, and then one day I was like, actually, I think I actually like this now. So I don't know, if we had that effect on someone, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think what we do, I think we've come to terms with the fact that what we do is very selfish. Like, we write music for ourselves. We write the music we want to hear. We write the music that we want to play. And we don't really take in what even our management label or fans or any of those sort of groups would want from us into account when we're writing, because that's kind of why we do it in the first place. This is like one of the few things we have control over. This is one of our chances for real self-expression. So if we aren't even giving that to ourselves, then we're kind of, I think that we're missing the point then. And that's just I'm not saying that that's how all bands have to be, but I know that that's how we want to be. And we're so lucky that we were able to negotiate these deals that give us complete creative control and that allow us to get away with doing this. So we might as well take advantage of that. So with that said, obviously I can't ever expect anyone to like it because it's very selfishly created, but it's always very pleasing to hear that, or to hear when someone is into it, because it was created kind of just for ourselves. It's a real treat that people actually come out and enjoy it, you know?
If you could personally tour with anyone in the future, who would it be and why?
It's kind of tough because actually, if I think about it, there's many of the bands that I wanted to tour with or play with we've actually done.
Already done?
So, at this point, which is an incredible honour, really. Bands like Misha or like Deftones or Dillinger Escape Plan. I'd really like to tour with Gojira.
Yes.
Oh, that would
Gojira would be awesome. I think at one point there was a tour that didn't quite happen where we would have ended up touring with them. That would have been amazing. But
it's one of the million factors that comes together, you know, that didn't line up perfectly for it to work out. But I agree with that.
Dream Theater, of course, we've had the pleasure of touring with as well. So.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I mean, I would love like Metallica, Perfect Circle, Tool, Slipknot, bands like those. I feel like those are pipe dream kind of bands. You know, you can always wish, but you know that maybe something like that would be really cool.
Maybe we'll watch this.
Thrice.
Thrice.
Are they coming back, aren't they?
Are they coming back?
I thought there was a thing recently.
If they come back, then yeah, absolutely, Thrice would be amazing.
I think they're in
that would be amazing.
I could see that. All right. Excited for the new Tool album?
What new Tool album?
it's coming eventually.
Will I be alive when that comes out?
From what I've gathered, your guys' tour ends in the middle of February. Is that right?
Yeah. Valentine's Day.
Oh, perfect.
Oh no, maybe the 15th. No, I think 14th.
No, it ends. Last show is on Valentine's Day, so no one's gonna come out, or maybe everyone's gonna come out with their girlfriends. Yeah.
What is your guys' next step for 2015 after this is over?
We head pretty much straight over to Europe. We have a really cool tour coming up with Devon Townsend, and also a band that I've been a fan of for a long time called Shining from Norway that play just incredible, weird, black jazz is what they call it. It's kind of like Dillinger Escape Plan meets Herbie Hancock.
It's very unique. It's awesome.
It's Shining? The Shining?
Well, no, just Shining.
Shining, but they always have this, they always specify that they're from Norway because there's a Swedish band called Shining that's very, very different. So the Norwegian band is the one that we're fans of. Yeah, it's crazy music. I'm like really, really excited to finally see them live.
Yeah, I've been able to see them live a few times, so it's going to be good fun. And then we've got some plans to hit up some American festivals, and there's some other plans in the works which I don't think I'm in a position to spill the beans about, but it's definitely going to be a very busy 2015.
Yeah, I mean, we just put out 2 albums, you know. So as you can imagine, like everyone on our team is just trying to ensure that we promote it as much as possible, which equates to touring a lot.
Cool. Well, I'm excited for you guys.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Do you have anything to say to the viewers out there for the Age of Metal?
Just thank you so much for your support, and if you're here tonight, I really hope you guys enjoy the show.
Yeah, and I'll echo that as well. Thank you so much for all your support, guys. Hope to see you tonight.